team, Paul Blomqvist here, standing in the Highlands Museum, and today I'm giving you my car of the month this month. It's going to be a 1994 Ford Mondeo. Yes, it was around before I was born, but probably still one of the most iconic touring cars of the year. Not only, but driven by Paul Radisich to win the World Touring Car Cup in the same year in 1994. So here it is in New Zealand in its full glory.
Hey everybody, Paul Radisich here. You would remember me from the British touring car days. Well, right behind me is the car that I won the second World Cup at Donington, and I'll show you around the car just to give you a bit of an idea. It's a Rouse-built car. It was built extremely strong, and I was able to use a lot of curb, hence shorten up the track a little bit. So we're always always up on two wheels in this particular car. As you can see, V6 engine, I mean it's the air intake, but the V6 engine very much in the same place as where the standard engine was. 19-inch wheels, I think, maybe 18s, forget now, but and the spokes there were for cooling. So Andy Rouse had decided, just trying to help the front cooling because it got so hot being front wheel drive, that the little fan sort of drew the air out of the brake calipers and helped a little bit in braking.
Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, we're going to be building this vintage beauty from Tamiya. It's the Ford Mondeo on the FF01, which is a front-wheel drive car, so a little bit different for a change. So in this episode, we're going to basically fully build it up. So if you're interested in seeing how this goes, stay tuned. Right, so we've got to lay everything out, and it doesn't take that long. Being front wheel drive, there isn't exactly a lot going on from the front axle back. Everything happens on the front axle. The motor hangs out right over the front and then basically just drives the front wheels. The whole rest of the chassis and the rear axles just follow along for a bit of fun. So this car comes with a ball diff, and I did have a little bit of a faff getting it to actually go in. These tiny little balls, when you sandwich it together, you've got to be really careful one doesn't fall out and then you sandwich it all together. So just be very careful when you're actually turning the diff. Make sure it's nice and smooth all the way around. There's no notchiness. Now this is 100% going to be a shelf queen. These have just become so rare, especially the bodies. Keeping them immaculate is really hard to do. Now I wanted to get some bearings for this anyway as I'm building it up, so I picked up some from Plague Bearings and I fitted them while we're building it. So in a blink of an eye, that's pretty much the front done. We've got to add the motor, but we can do that down the line. So we turn our attentions to the back, and there's just not much to it. It takes almost 5 minutes and you've got the whole back done. Obviously there's no drive shafts, there's no diff, there's nothing. With that done, we can move on to the shocks. Now this kit comes with oil shocks, not like modern stuff that seems to be coming with friction shocks. I just don't understand it. Building up these shocks, super easy. There wasn't that much difference between the front and rear. I used some Tamiya oil that I had. This kit didn't come with any oil, which kind of leads me to the idea that this has been imported from Japan. Right, we bolt the front and rear to the car, and it's starting to look done already. We've just fitted the steering. So now it's time to put some electronics in it, and I wanted to put vintage electronics as this is going to be a shelf queen, and this chassis is right at that point where they transition from the mechanical to the electronic. A massive thanks to Andy for helping me out get these electronics, as I used up all the ones I had in the Blazing Star, so I wanted to put the same in this one. Right, now that's done, let's turn our attentions to the body, and this is the, believe it or not, the most valuable part, so I wanted to take my time and do it properly. Now this is a blue, flat blue colour, so you could just paint it one colour and call it a day, but I wanted to do it properly. So I actually did it in the blue. I used a whole tin. After that, I did a white all the way through to try and make sure it didn't go darker, and then I put black over it as well. So yes, I made 3 times the amount of work that you'd normally get, but being that this is such a rare car and to have an original body with original decals in mint condition, I wanted to take the extra time now and do it properly. So there's the blue down. I used a whole tin. No issues at all, it all went down fine. One thing I actually did as well, there's a black lip sticker that goes all the way around the bottom valance on the front. I decided instead of using a sticker, I'll actually mask it off and paint it black when I put the final black layer down, which is what I did. And yeah, it looks a lot better. Then I just cut out the actual decal and put it on the front, so the front valance wouldn't lift or anything like that. There is a lot of stickers on this car, and it's going to take quite a while to do it. Now I did smoke the windows as well. I just did 3 layers on the windows, as I don't want the windows to be blacked out completely. I want you to be able to see inside. Three coats of smoke is usually enough. If I might end up putting a driver cockpit in this car, so we'll see. So I was happy just to leave it a little bit on the lighter side. Now as for the decals, I wanted to go the extra mile as well. So like the top decal you see on the roof there, I actually cut out the circle and then cut out the actual letters that are inside. When you've got decals that you're putting on a car and there's a lot of clear, it doesn't look very good, so it's worth taking the time to actually cut it out, which is what I did all the way through this car. Now the difficult one was the Mondeo on the boot. Yes, I actually cut that all out, totally removing all the plastic. Yeah, it did take quite a while. This is definitely not one for the faint-hearted, and I wouldn't attempt this if you're just starting out. This is not a great place to do your first body. So there you go, I finally got myself a Ford Mondeo in my collection that is in mint condition, and yes, it makes you work for it, that's for sure. The amount of time I have pumped into this car, the best part of 2 full days just to get all the decals right. Now granted, I did make a bit of a rod for my own back doing so many layers of paint, which you don't need to do, but this is quite a rare car now, so I wanted to do it justice. I didn't just want to hack it together. So doing all those extra layers and getting the black on the inside is definitely worth doing, as getting a new body for this would be a real nightmare. The decals do take a long time to do, especially if you decide to cut out all the clear sections of the decals to get it looking as good as you can. Now the white sticker on the side wasn't too bad. I started at the bottom and just worked my way up. One thing that was a bit strange is the actual window surrounds. Tamiya normally do it where it actually bends, the line bends with the window, but on this kit they're actually dead straight, so the only way to get it to bend is to heat it up with the hairdryer and then bend it when it gets soft. So all the windows on the sides are a lot harder than they needed to be. I don't know why on this kit they did it like that, but normally all the other kits that I've ever had from Tamiya, the windows go the same direction as the actual windows do. So that made things a little bit more tricky. Loving the wheels, they are really nice and it really sets off the car. It does scream 1990s, and yeah, so it's definitely going to go in the collection. There is a few bits and pieces I'm still missing. I need to get the mechanical speed controller bar. I haven't gone through my parts bin again. I did find one. Whether I've got another one, I don't know. And I need to get this switch that goes from the mechanical speed controller to the receiver. I need to get one of those, as I don't seem to have one. I will have another look through my parts bin to see if I can find it, but where they normally are, I'm kind of run out. After that, I'll have to fire it up and see if it actually works. Don't know, but a massive thanks to Andy for getting me the receiver and the servos for this one, as I'm just out of old vintage stuff. Really happy with this one. It is a bit of an icon for Tamiya as well. Next, we move on to doing the BT01, which is the latest version impression, and then hopefully we can maybe take it for a gentle drive. I might have to drop a electronic speed controller in this one, as no way I'm going to trust it, or maybe I'll run it without the body, because I'd like to see how it runs the chassis itself, but maybe we'll leave off the body that took me 2 days to do and would cost me hundreds of pounds to replace. So I'm going to change the body on this one. Obviously I'm going to do it front wheel drive, and that is not a front wheel drive car, so I'm probably going to change the body on that. So that will be coming really soon, as well as this from NRC Projects. I have got one of these little beauties, the K24. So if you haven't seen those, it's a 1/24th scale car buggy that I'm going to build on the show real soon. So there's lots coming. Also, I will be raffling off the BT01, so I'll put a link in the description if you would like to be in with a chance to win that. Comes with worldwide shipping. Anyway, there you go. A beautiful Tamiya vintage road car. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.